E ngā mana e ngā ihi e ngā wehi. Koutou katoa kua pai nei tēnei ata. Ngā iwi o tautahi. Ko ngā Pākihi whakatakataka o Waitaha e Tūmaira. Ko o Tākaro e Ātarere Maina. Ko oi manawa tērā e tūnei. Tātou e pai nei ki runga i te papa whenua, ko te mana whenua ngai tuahuriri tēnā koutou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Julian Wilcox and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's memorial service. The service will commence presently soon upon the arrival of the official party. So for those who are still making their way, if I can get you to take your seats, particularly those of you who are to be seated in our VIP section, if you're not already there, can we get you to do that now? And then I'll ask you to stand in a moment for the arrival of the official party. Until then, welcome everyone to this memorial service on this splendid Christchurch day. And you'll hear from me soon to introduce the official delegation. Tēnā koutou katoa. Tēnā koutou e ngai iwi kia tūtū mai rā koutou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please stand for the arrival of the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, Dr. Tamaire Tau, Upoko Runanga Ngai Tuahuriri, the Mayor of Christchurch, Her Worship the Honourable Leanne Dalziel, the Honourable Dr. Megan Wood, Minister for Greater Christchurch Regeneration, Mr. Tim Elmes, the Chair of the Quake Families Trust, who will be the official delegation here tonight. Tēnā koutou. Kia ora mai rā tātou katoa. Please be seated. Kia ora noho mai. Could I also acknowledge Mr. Kazuyuki Nakane, the State Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, who is with us here today. E te manuhiri tuarangi tēnā koe. I now ask the Upoko Runanga of Mana Whenua, Ngai Tuahuriri, Dr. Tamaire Tau, to officially open this hui with our mihi e te rangatira tēnā koe.
Kia ora. Ngā whānau. E te piramia, mea, ngā minita, ngā rangatira o te kaunihera o Ngaitahu. Me te kaunihera o Kraitiana, tēnā rā koutou, nau mai, haere mai. E hōna re tēnei kia mihi atu ki a koe e te piramia, kua haere mai nei ki te whakamaumahara i a rātou ihinga, i te rūwhenua. Nō reire te whānau pani. I nā po i ino e atu mātou, taua me te āpōtoro, kia ihoa kia māmā ai o koutou mamai. Nō reira, huri au ki a koutou. Bereaved families, Prime Minister, Mayor, distinguished visitors, ministers, welcome. It's an honour to welcome you here, Prime Minister, as you have given time and you have come to give time and thought to those who fell in the earthquake. These memorials mean something because as time passes we cement them with our tears and they become emblems of our collective grief. So let us give thanks to the fact that we have gathered here as a community that cares for each other, and that today our Prime Minister, who has taken time to attend our Day of Remembrance, has come here collectively so that we may attend to our severe wounds. That today as a city, our national leaders, local leaders, give expression to our ancestors' pepeha they left with us. Ki ata whai ki te iwi, care for the people. Nō reira, tēnā rā koutou, nau mai haere mai, koutou katoa.
E te upoko runanga o Ngai Tuahuriri, tākuta Tamaire Tau tēnā koe. I now invite Her Worship the Mayor of Christchurch and Mr. Tim Elmes, Chair of the Quake Families Trust, to the stage. Nō reira, te kahika o te whaitu o tautahi, kōrua ko te whakakanohitanga o ngā whānau I hinga tēnā kōrua, kei a kōrua te wā.
Ena mana, ena reo, e rau rangatira mā, tēnei te mihi kia koutou, I te kaupapa o te rā, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. It is a privilege to stand alongside the Quake Families Trust Chair, Tim Elmes, as we welcome our invited guests, the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, Minister Woods, Minister Nakane from Japan, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee representing the Leader of the Opposition, Members of Parliament, Waimakariri Mayor David Ayres, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, members of the Defence Forces and Emergency Services, and we welcome the family and friends of the 185 people who lost their lives, those who were severely injured, and everyone who has gathered here to share the memories and the sense of collective loss that was marked by that day. February the 22nd, 2011, 12:51 p.m. is one of those moments etched in our collective memories. People who were in Christchurch on that day remember exactly what they were doing, exactly where they were. People who weren't here but had a connection to Christchurch remember when they first heard of the 6.3 magnitude earthquake that claimed 185 lives and devastated the city and beyond. 2 years ago, the Quake Families Trust told me that they wanted to take on the responsibility for these commemorations once the Canterbury Earthquake National Memorial, Waimanawa, was dedicated last year. Sharing the role with each other as we do today enables the city to shoulder the responsibility so that the focus is on embracing the Quake families' feelings for how the day should be commemorated. It means a lot to me that we stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder. The theme, Keeping Their Dreams Alive, helps us look back at all that we've lost, but with a sense of hope and aspiration for the future. It also helps us to recall with gratitude all those who came to our rescue and those who offered support at our time of need. 2 years ago, I read some words from Samuel Butler, which I use again today to formally welcome you here. I fall asleep in the full and certain hope that my slumber shall not be broken, and that though I be all forgetting, yet shall I not be all forgotten, but continue that life in the thoughts and deeds of those I loved. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
On behalf of the bereaved families, the survivors, and the Quake Families Trust, I wish to welcome you to this, the 7th anniversary. Thank you for your attendance. As an expat Englishman, this country has provided many opportunities for my family, and it has certainly allowed us to keep our dreams alive and fulfill many of them. It is a wonderful country, and we are all so lucky to live here. If you doubt that, just travel the world and you'll really appreciate New Zealand as your home. It's also a country that cares, and today illustrates that. As a small country, we have had our share of tragedies, and the ones that I recall are as follows, but I know there are many more. Brunner, 1896. Napier earthquake, 1931. Tangiwai, 1953. Wahine, 1968. Erebus, 1979. Cave Creek, 1995. And Pike, and of course our own one in 2011. In just about all these tragedies, somebody knew someone who knew someone who was involved. I think that just illustrates what a small, close-knit community and country this is. All of these events, we saw courage, we saw kindness, we saw determination, and we saw an outpouring of love and support from around the world. Today is about remembering all that we lost and being grateful for all that we have gained. Today is about remembering our loved ones and being grateful that they were part of our lives. Today is about ensuring that we honour their legacy by being courageous, by being grateful, being determined, being kind, and through us, we are keeping their dreams alive. Thank you.
Your Worship, the Mayor, Mr. Tim Elms, thank you both very much for those words. Tēnā koutou. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite representatives of the first responders and representatives of the international communities affected to read the names of the 185 people who lost their lives on February 22nd, 2011. The names will be read as they are inscribed on the memorial wall, Oi Manawa. Kia hoki ngā mahara kia rātou mā I parekuratia, he whitu tau nei ki muri.
Joseph Joe Te Ho Pohio, Lisa Patricia Willems, Jaden David Harris, Rachel Elizabeth Conley, Matthew Matty Stewart McKeekin, Adrian Isabel Lindsay, Shane Robert Tomlin, Ian Faldesi, Normand Lee, Christopher Grant Homan, Jamie Robert McDowell Gilbert, Kelsey Sunita Moore, and Tanisha Gale Rose Pratley.
Christopher Smitty Patrick Smith, Donald Ashby Cowie, Andrew Christian Ross Craig, Owen Thomas McKenna, Offa Benjamin Mizrahi, Offa Levy, Gabi Angel, Linda Isabel Arnold, Jennifer Ann Donaldson, Graham and Joan Wield, Melissa Ann Neal.
Baxter Warwick Gowland, Catherine McNichol Looney, Patrick John Coop, Jane Marie Alberts, Amanda Jane Hooper née Christie, Kerry Stewart Bird, Melanie Jane Brown née Gentle, John Barry Craig Barry, Kelly Lynn Maynard née Halaka, Helen Margaret Chambers, John Joseph J.J. O'Connor, Adam Stephen Fisher.
Blair James O'Connor, Estelle Marie Cullen, Emma Shaharuddin, Julie Catherine Wong, Michael Stewart Coulter Stiant, Adrian Adi Meredith, Philip John MacDonald, Leslie Jane Thompson, Linda Rosemary Parker, Nina Jane Bishop, Marion Isabella McCurdy Hilbers née Berry, Diane Mary Faulkner,
Beverly Faye Kennedy née Greenfell, Elizabeth Jane Grant, Teresa McLean née Elms, Heather Marilyn Meadows, Dr. Maysoon Mahadi Abbas, Dr. Hussam Sabah Alani, Janet Dawn Mealer, Christine Trish Stevenson, Dr. Dominic Joseph Gerard Bell, Dr. Alan Alexander Sinclair, Susan Lynn Salway, Pamela Marie Bryan, Kyle Brandon Jack Midgley.
Sue Shin Didim Yaman, Joanna Claire Didim née Beveridge, Isaac James Thompson, Joanne May Giles, Samuel Reese Gibb, Reese Frank Brookbanks, Murray John Wood, Stephen Robert Wright, Andrew James Llewellyn Bishop, Donna Mary Manning née Gardner, Sue Wen Hua, Mandy Jane Urio née Walker, Susan Patricia Shooter, Paul U Kie Soon,
Matthew Matty Lyle Beaumont, Sean Lucas, Valeri Volnov, Elsa Torres de Frood, Tiataki Tirakina, Brian Warrington Taylor, Gillian Sayers, Cristiano Carazzo Chandler, Sandra Jin Jin He, Heidi Julie Berg, Deborah Ann Roberts, Tamara Leah Harker, Dr. Tamara Svitanova.
Ivy Jane Bohos Cabonilas, Emma Bell Cabahug Anoba, Rhea May Sumalpong, Jewel Jose Francisco, Ezra May Sabayton Medalle, Jesse Lloyd A. Redoble, John Christopher Villegas Chua, Valkin Descalzota Bensurto, Mary Louise Ann Bantillo Amantillo, Lalaine Collado Agatep, Erica Avir Reyes Nora.
李新红、何文、周小丽、冷金燕、李德和叶彩英、赖长、张维宇、靳曼、韩希岭、李婉菊。
王涛、陈阳、王丽敏、蔡玉、徐琳琳、涂慧云、张迪迪、钟燕桃、张辉、徐秀娟、李霞、
100万春樹、北川康弘、浜崎由紀、今岡敏子、土橋飛鳥、鈴木陽子、畑由美子、早坂美希、平林優子、大坪典子、山口綾子、玉野弘子、日向理香、櫻井陽子。
星葉一二三、川畑京子、平内よし子、堀田めぐみ、作田さや、蓮本裕樹、金丸佳代、菊田沙織、村上恵美、山谷美奈、内平ゆりか、横田咲、石黒智樹、新井まりな。
หฤทยาเหลืองสุระพีสกุล วันเพ็ญปรีกลาง จิตราไวยทยธาดาพงศ์ สิริพันธ์วงบุญงาม ธนิดาอินทรางกูล พิมพรเลี้ยงเชื้อ
Yu Na On, Yu Gil Fong, Philip Graham Reeve Copyard, Elizabeth Ann Sinclair, Stephen Andrew Cochran, Steve, Jeff Palisa Sam, Gregory James Tobin, Marielle Falardeau, Ross Henry Bush, Maureen Valerie Fletcher,
Scott William Emerson Lucy, Paul Clarence Dunlop, Neil Glynn Stocker, Natasha Sarah Hadfield, Betty Irene Dixon,
Jaden Brightain Andrews Howland, Pamela Christina Barkle, Desley Ann Thompson, Joseph Stewart Routledge and Lucy Routledge, Gilly Murphy, Ian Neville Caldwell, Wei Fong Lau, Beverly May and Earl Nicholas Stick, Iris Botting, Owen Morris Wright, Rita Ann Stewart.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the clock approaches 12:51 p.m., the time the earthquake struck 7 years ago, I ask you please stand and observe 1 minute silence in remembrance of those who lost their lives and all those whose lives were changed forever. Kia pū mau te aroha, kia rere arau mahara, kia tau te ai o, kia noho te mauri rongo mau, kia tātou katoa. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Kia ora hono mai rā koutou katoa. I would now like to invite members of the Christchurch Interfaith Society, representing many faiths, to read the Act of Remembrance. Ko te pānui whakamaharatanga tēnei te tātaki ake nei.
At the rising of the sun, and as it's going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind, and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
At the opening of the buds, and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies, and in the warmth of the summer, we remember them.
At the rustling of the leaves, and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year, and when it ends, we remember them.
As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them.
When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them.
As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. As we remember them.
E ngai iwi tātou katoa. I now invite the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, to take the stage. Nō reira te pirimia, kōrua ko tō pēpi, tēnā kōrua.
Tēnā koutou, ina māta waka. Nai tuahuriri, nai tāhu whānui, tēnā koutou. Nau mai whakatau mai ki tēnei rā, maumahara I tēru whenua. Āpiti hono tātai hono, te hunga māte, ki te hunga māte. Āpiti hono tātai hono, te hunga ora, ki te hunga ora. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. There are many here to acknowledge, but I want to start by acknowledging the emergency services, in particular those who joined us on the stage today for the reading of the names, not only for the role that they played on February 22nd, 2011, but the role that they continue to play for every state of emergency, every natural disaster that's happened in between. We acknowledge you and we thank you. To the Mayor of Christchurch and Waimakariri, and to the many councillors who are here for the work that you continue to do as you rebuild your city on behalf of your people. To Sir Bob Parker, the role that you played in those early days. To the Minister as well, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee, from the time of those early days as well, I acknowledge you and your colleague Nikki Wagner. To the Minister for Canterbury Regeneration, Megan Woods, to MPs who couldn't be here but asked that I passed on their regards, Matt Ducey, Duncan Webb, Ruth Dyson, Porter Williams, Rino Tirakatane. To Tim Elms, Chair of the Quake Families Trust, and the representative role you play on behalf of so many, I acknowledge you. To diplomats, ambassadors and high commissioners, but most of all to family members, to friends, to those who experience loss and grief. Today we mark 7 years since the February 22nd earthquake and the tragic loss of 185 lives. It struck me as I sat in the front row here and listened to those names that perhaps the most important part of this ceremony and service is the reading of those names. A short moment in time that represents and signifies an entire life and a lost future. It's a time to reflect and remember the loved ones you lost and the lives they led, but also the joy that they brought you. It's also a time to reflect on your stories and your lives since that day, from your initial response to the disaster to your wholehearted determination to rebuild your city in the face of huge hardship and loss. From the job done by those first responders on that day, to the spirit of volunteers like the Student Volunteer Army and the Whāmi Army in the days and weeks that followed, to the thousands of people who have started new businesses or new community groups in this city in the last 7 years, who are playing their part in building a new Christchurch for the future. You embodied New Zealand in those early days, and you continue to do so. But that day was a tragedy which touched people here, but also from all around the world. Today we remember that over 40% of all the earthquake fatalities were foreign nationals. We remember and we grieve with their families too, some of whom have travelled to be with us here today, others who are represented by their country's diplomats, others who are separated by distance. Our thoughts are with them also. I would like to acknowledge in particular the presence of the Japanese State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Minister Nakane, who is with us today representing the Japanese government. Today we remember all those who lost their lives and the communities that grieve them, and that in spite of that grief, the generosity shown to us came so quickly from so many countries in our time of need. For that we will always be grateful. But today is also a day for reflection on how much has changed, but also in some ways how little has changed. We know that many are still hurting, and we know that as a nation, our priority must always be the well-being of our people. Of course, we want everyone to be able to feel that sense of hope for the future. That's why we must continue to do one simple thing: listen. Doing what you did that tragic day and working together as you rebuild your city and as you continue to rebuild your lives. But hope and optimism also relies on well-being, and that's most certainly the case for some of our most vulnerable, like the children of this city. This morning I had the privilege of visiting with some children, parents, teachers at one of our local schools, and it occurred to me that this is the generation of the rebuild, that while some of them may not have directly experienced tragedy and loss, they will always have a sense of it around them. But we must do all we can to support those children as much as we support their families as we continue to rebuild. Finally, the promise I want to make today is that the whole country is still just as behind the people of Canterbury today as they were with you on that tragic day 7 years ago. We are with you as the city and the people move into a future that is marked by hope and by a sense of optimism. We continue to stand alongside you as you rebuild a city that captures the spirit that has flourished over the last 7 years. Incredible things have happened amidst the rubble. You were creative, greening the rubble, building strong community connections, invigorated arts community. They are all powerful legacies and legacies of your experience. As you move forward with your recovery, we will stand alongside you. We will do all we can to support you. And no matter what, we will never, ever forget, and we will keep their dreams alive. Kia ora koutou katoa.
E te pirimia tēnā koe i ōkupu whakahihiri, i ōkupu whakamānawa, i ōkupu whakawairua i a tātou katoa ko pāna i tarani. Prime Minister, thank you very much for those words. I now invite our Christchurch a cappella group, Voices Co, who will be performing the song For Good as a relish to those words from the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, our Prime Minister. Hei whakarehu i ngā kupu a te pirimia.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you.
Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It's well maybe that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made from what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a comet plucked from orbit as it passes us by the wind of the sea, that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better.
And because I knew you,
because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Voices Co, thank you so much for their moving performance. Ko te waia ta whakaihihi I a tātou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, I now ask Dr. Tamaire Tau, Upoko Runanga of Ngaitua Huriri, to return to the stage and to come forward for our closing karakia and blessing. Following the blessing, Voices Co will lead us in the singing of the national anthem. Kia tūtū mai rā tātou katoa. Please be upstanding.
Thank you. It's important to pause and reflect, and that moments like these are important. And when we do that, we can give thanks for the blessings that we do have, and that we know that our loved ones rest in the arms of grace and eternal peace. And that as we rebuild this city, we'll do so on the tenets that we hold to, which is faith, hope and charity. And that charity is the greatest virtue of all, and it will bind us together as a people. Nō reira, e te māngai e ngā anehira pono, e te tuku turitapu. Tia ho tia te hā o te aroha no ki rongi a mātu I te rānei. Ki rongi I te kōhatu whakamaumahara me tāta katoa. Nō reira, ka tūkina atu nei, e nei inoi I rong te kaha te pono ngā wā katoa, ko te māngai hei tautoko mai aia nei ākene nei, ai.
E ioa atua o ngā iwi matora a ta whakarongona me aroha noa kia ua ko te pai kia tatoa
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Voices Co. Kia noho mai rā koutou katoa, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our service today. You may wish to now join the official party as they make their way to the memorial wall to place wreaths in the remembrance of those who lost their lives. The first wreaths will be placed by the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister, who will be laying a wreath on behalf of the Government of New Zealand. The Honourable Leanne Dalzell, Mayor of Christchurch, on behalf of the citizens of Christchurch. Dr. Tamaire Tau, Upoko Runanga, on behalf of Ngaitua Huriri Runanga. Mr. Tim Elms, Chair of the Quake Families Trust, on behalf of the bereaved families. Following them will be invited guests and families and survivors. As you follow the official party, you may wish to place a flower as part of the river of flowers from the table on the Montreal Bridge. To those families here today, thank you for joining us. To the good people of Christchurch who have come out today, thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are here as part of our official delegations, thank you also for being with us here today. And before we close, we ask, kia hora te marino, kia whakapapapona mu te moana, kia te re te kārohiroi. Indeed, may the seas before us all be calm. May they glisten like greenstone, and may the shimmer of summer be across all of our pathways, now and forevermore. Kia hoho te rongo kia tātou katoa. Let peace reign. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the departure of the official party. Kia tutu mai rā tātou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Spirit moves you, you may wish to make your way across the Memorial Bridge, or indeed take a seat in the designated area. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Tēnā koutou katoa.